You're so dark. Oh, I need headphones. I'll be back. I forgot that.
Echo. Echo.
Did things to your own and love is what we do.
I'm having a rave.
Made you a god.
Just killing time with the echoes.
What?
We were just killing time with the echoes.
Echo, echo, echo. Okay.
Where's your mic? You're quiet.
Hi. Is this better?
Kind of. I'm sure it's fine.
I can turn it up more.
I can turn my volume up too.
Okay. Hey, Mom doesn't have to work tomorrow. She never has to work. Let's get reacquainted with my notes.
God, I know I was thinking that today. I was like, I have no idea what happened.
It was the end of season 2.
It was, but I still don't remember. I watched the last 2 episodes today, so I've got those down, but
Good.
19 through 22 are going to be weird, especially since I don't have a lot of notes for 21 or 22.
I wrote
Or really 20.
I have it all. Okay.
Well, I know I've got notes too, but I'm just saying I don't remember.
Okay. Yeah. For all of our fans out there, we decided to take a break for a week. There's really no reason why we did it. We just did it.
Well, it's good to take breaks in life sometimes.
Yeah, rough times lately. We all need mental breaks.
Okay.
Yeah, so we finished up season 19, or season 2. Started with episode 19.
Even if there were 19 seasons of this show.
Right.
We just followed John through his whole life.
This is the one show we need a reunion.
Yeah. Well, should we just dive in?
Why not?
All right. Season 2, episode 19. The Rhythm of Life. Gossip is spreading fast, which causes people to make revelations.
So,
is this the school dance?
yeah, this was all just cringy, but it started off with George and Ruben are playing cards at the Jurgens house, and Ricky's there taking care of John. The guys are all there because
right.
The girls are out at the mother-daughter dance. So
I'm remembering this episode now.
Yeah. But it starts with George and Ruben playing cards, and Ricky just drops down, and George is upset with him because he heard that Ricky kissed Amy. And so he confronts Ricky about that, and then Ruben's like, "You kissed Amy, but you're dating my daughter." We don't get much there, but we then hop over to the mother-daughter dance, and it's very lame. All the ladies,
it's very awkward.
Ladies are sitting on the bleachers in the gym. It's like just a high school gym dance. And the chicken dance starts playing. They're like, "I don't want to be a chicken. I don't want to be a duck. So shake my butt."
We know.
I just wanted to do it.
We know what it is.
And then the Jurgens daughters they're chatting, and Ash and Amy are fighting because Ashley's been acting really cold to Amy because after seeing her and Ricky kiss, but Amy doesn't know that Ashley saw. So they're just doing some sister beef.
But while all that's happening, the counselor is the only one dancing.
Yes. And she's got a person sitting on a chair just playing the stereo for her.
Yep.
And
And she's
then,
very into it.
yes, and we'll find out later why. But Madison comes on down and asks Amy to dance, and Amy's like, yeah, sure. But they don't really dance, they just walk off to talk. And basically, she lets Madison and Lauren know that she's not a bad kisser, and she knows she's not. Hint, hint, because, Ricky confirmed with her that she's not. Um, and then there's an awkward talk between Kathleen, Anne, and Adrian's mom, all of George's lovers. Mainly because Adrian's mom and Kathleen, they're having their own weddings they're planning, and yeah, they're all talking about their love lives.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So then Anne, feeling awkward and left out of the conversation, she decides to tell those ladies that her and George are getting remarried, even though that may not be true. And then after that, we go back to the guys, and George and Ruben are questioning Ricky why he kissed Amy. And
Because she
then,
asked me to.
yeah, basically he is acting like he's so innocent. And then Ricky asks Ruben not to tell Adrian because he's planning on telling her himself. And then we kind of go back to the dance, and Madison gets a call from Jack. He's wanting to talk about their relationship and how he feels guilty that he's only seen her just for sex, but wants to pursue the relationship more, maybe. And then we go over to the Boykovich house, and Henry and Ben are playing cribbage. Remember, Ben wanted to teach someone cribbage, so I guess he's teaching Henry. And they're talking about girls. And while they're talking about girls, Alice returns from the school dance. And as she returns, those three start having a conversation kind of about Amy. Ben says that he was afraid to have sex with Amy when they were dating because he had an internal fear of getting her pregnant, which isn't fair to Amy. And then Ben decides to talk to Leo about his feelings for Amy. And Leo's kind of trying to talk him off the edge, saying, hey, how about you sleep on this? Because Ben's decided that he wants Amy back. And Leo's really like, son, you've had your independence. Let's just sleep on this. It's not a good idea. You don't really want to go to Amy and be like, hey, I only broke up with you because I was afraid to get you pregnant.
Yeah.
But does Ben ever listen to anyone? No. And then we hop back over the dance, and Lauren and Madison's moms are talking, and Madison tells Lauren's mom that Madison's having sex, so Lauren's mom kind of freaks out about that. And then we see Grace and Ashley having an awkward talk at the dance. I don't really remember what they're talking about. But then they see Adrian walk up to Amy and ask Amy for a condom because Adrian's thinking that Amy and Ricky had sex, so she's trying to prove this by saying that, like, oh, Amy has a condom. She definitely had sex with Ricky.
Yeah.
And while this is all happening, Ben decides to call the Jurgens house phone, where George answers the phone, and Ben decided he's going to bring them over a pizza.
Oh, yeah.
And George is like, yeah, come on over, bring us a pizza. I don't know. And then Adrian decides to thank Amy for the condom in front of Anne. Well, Anne's like, why do you have a condom? And then Amy's like, I'm not having sex. But then during that time, Ashley decides to rat out Amy for kissing Ricky to Anne. And then after all of this drama happens, the counselor decides to put a stop to it all by kind of talking about why she decided to have a mother-daughter dance. And it turns out her grandma was a Holocaust survivor and was in a concentration camp, and brought up kind of how her grandma survived the concentration camp by thinking about dancing in her living room.
Yeah.
And so it all gets awkward and sentimental and just, yeah, all around awkward. Are you not remembering any of this? Is this why I'm talking?
No, I have a lot of notes. They just kind of go in between all of your notes, but you just kind of kept on talking.
Oh, I kept trying to pause for you to talk. Go ahead.
All right, let's see. When at some point Madison called Jack towards the beginning,
Yeah.
and on that call she told him not to be friends with Grace anymore. So that was something that happened.
That's why they're going to
And I think,
reassess their relationship, and that was one of the stipulations.
yeah. Blah, 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 blah. Just trying to see where these notes fit in and what they are.
Do you have any more details on like the Ben and Leo Amy conversation?
Well, first it was Ben and Henry playing cribbage, and then Alice left the dance and she went over there and she was sharing all of the secrets that she found out at the dance.
Mm-hmm.
Blah, blah, blah. Ben shares his breakthrough with his dad after that. And then we have, when Adrian hears the secret that Ricky and Amy kissed, and she goes and asks Amy for a condom because she knew Amy had the condom because Ashley had told her that's why Jimmy broke up with her.
Right.
So Adrian knew that Amy had the condom, so she goes and makes that big scene.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, "Thank you, Amy, for the condom."
Right.
And let's see. Yep, counselor shares the story. And then back at the Jurgens' house, Ben is there, and Amy tells Ben that she kissed Ricky.
Yes. Yeah.
And then she also says something like, "And you brought over pizza when you know I don't even like pizza. I like wings."
Yes.
So that just like further cemented that they were done. And Adrian is still all pissed. So she knows Ben is waiting outside in his car because he's all upset after hearing that Ricky and Amy kissed.
Yeah.
So then Adrian goes outside.
Wait, Amy and George have a conversation in between there after Amy kicks out Ben. George basically is like, "Why did you do that? Ben's good for you." And then Amy basically is like talking about like, "I don't care if he's good for me," or something, and she's like, "Something is wrong with the guys who don't want me," to George, because she's all heartbroken after that, and she said like he brought pizza but he knows I like wings, and then basically she's like having a breakdown about the whole Jimmy Ben thing, and is like, "Yeah, there's nothing wrong with me, there's only things wrong with the guys who don't want me." And then she basically told her dad as well that kissing Ricky wasn't that great.
Yeah.
And then during that time, Adrian calls Grace because she's like, "Ben's over there," and is like talking through her head of her spiraling of like, "I need to get back at Ricky because he slept with Amy," because she thinks Ricky and Amy slept together. Ben's over there. I'm gonna go talk to Ben. And Grace is like, "Please don't. Like, I like Ben. Like, please be a good friend and not do anything with Ben because I want to date Ben." And Adrian's not really listening to that, and she's like spiraling out of control, saying, "I'm just gonna go talk to him." Blah blah blah. So she does decide to go up to Ben's car and see what's up. And during that time, basically Ben's like, "Amy kissed Ricky, blah blah blah." And then she's like, "Do you want company?"
Let's see.
Oh, first though, on her way down to Ben, Ruben stops Adrian to kind of be like, "Oh, did Ricky come over?" Because he knew that Ricky was going to come over and talk to her. And Ricky did not come over.
But when she's storming out of the house mad, she leaves her cell phone, and we see she gets a text from him that says, "I love you."
Yep.
But no, she goes to fuck Ben.
Yep, and basically she fucks Ben. And
that brings us to episode 20.
yes,
Mistakes were made.
A few.
Let's see. The summary.
Mm-hmm.
Adrian makes a confession to Ricky.
Yeah, so this episode starts at the school, and it's basically a confrontation between Ricky and Adrian, and I don't remember the specifics, but basically Adrian tells Adrian tells Ricky, I slept with Ben because you slept with Amy, and Ricky
Yeah.
goes, I only kissed Amy. That's the difference.
Yeah.
And did
It's
you have
like, I had sex with her, but that was before I even knew you.
right? And then we go see Ben at the butcher shop.
I just have been sad.
Yeah, and he
My
is
notes.
definitely in his feels because he lost his virginity because he did not sleep with Maria. Um,
Bunny's trying to figure everything out.
yes. I wrote, Ricky then calls Bunny to be like, hey, I'm not coming into work today. And she's like, suck it up, blah, blah, blah. And then he goes, no, Ben had sex with
Ben slept
Adrian.
with Adrian.
And he's crying. Ricky's crying.
He's never really had a betrayal like that before.
No.
His, like, only one friend, Ben, slept with the
Mhm.
closest girl he's been to.
After
Sad boy
he was
Ricky.
so nice to Ben about the baby and when Amy was giving birth and blah, blah, blah.
Mm-hmm.
But then we go to Amy and the gaggle of girls are talking about Ricky. And basically Amy says, because they're like, oh, well, Ricky's single now. What are you going to do? And she goes, John's the only guy I love. And then during that conversation, they tell her about Ben sleeping with Adrian. And then basically Lauren and Madison offer to watch John so Amy can
Oh,
figure
yeah.
all this guy shit out.
Yeah, because she still doesn't know why Jimmy's ghosting her.
Right.
And Ben slept with Adrian, and
Oh, we're
I
still
don't think
there.
she really has. Huh?
Oh, for some reason I forgot about the whole Jimmy thing. Thought that
Yeah,
was
I
over
think.
with. Yeah,
No.
so they offer to watch
John.
John so she can go prove to Jimmy that she's not a bad kisser and so she can get
Well, no, no, no,
resolution there.
no. They think that she's going to go talk with Ben. She doesn't tell anyone she's seen
Yeah.
Jimmy.
And then we go over to Grant, if you remember, is Griffin's cousin that he set up
Is
with
dating
Ashley.
Ashley.
And they're watching Robbie in her bedroom. And Grant compares her to a stolen Christmas present. And
He's
he's
so
so
awkward. I hate
creepy.
everything.
He's so
Ugh.
weird. But yeah, so basically he's like, I like sneaking around with you. It's like when you open your presents before Christmas morning.
Yeah.
Creepy. But then we go and see Lauren and Madison.
They also have a
baby.
very awkward kiss.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Before we cut away.
Yeah.
Ugh.
But then we see Lauren and Madison are terrible babysitters. They talk about thinking about babies. They talk about wanting to take pictures with the baby. They're talking about that they don't
So
want to
awkward.
talk about babysitting and liking babies to their boyfriends, whatever. So Jesse, Lauren's boyfriend, calls her. First off, why does he have a bird? He's got a pet bird. It's weird.
Who does?
Jesse.
Jesse?
Lauren's boyfriend.
Oh.
He's got a bird.
I don't really pay too much attention to them.
But basically Lauren reassures him like, I don't want a baby. I don't want to get married. All this stuff. Because they decided
Okay, yeah.
that
We're 16.
reverse psychology is going to work on these guys. And then we cut back to Grant and Ashley and their awkward kiss, and they both just go, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then George and Anne are at therapy.
Yes. And Anne, first off, the therapist thinks George is funny. George walks out of therapy and to sum it up, basically, Anne needs control, is what I got. She has some control issues, which I completely understand. So do I.
And I think she kind of has to learn how to live in the moment more.
Yeah, and
Not get
he
so
says,
fixated on
the
things.
therapist, Lauren's dad, says to her, what are mistakes if not lessons?
Mm-hmm.
She focuses a lot on all of George's mistakes and is afraid of him making more mistakes.
Yes.
And then we get to Ben and Adrian talking and them saying that they made a mistake. What are mistakes if not lessons?
Shocking.
And then Grace confronts Adrian so Adrian goes over to Grace's house and Grace flips a tit at her, rightfully so, and basically tells her, you did the wrong thing again, Adrian, as you always do. And then she said, Grace told her, maybe if you didn't have sex with every guy you met, you'd feel better about yourself.
She's not wrong.
And Tom is mad at Grace for being mean to Adrian. And then we go over to the Boykovich's house, and Betty and Leo are talking about getting married, and Bunny stops by to let them know how much of a disappointment Ben is. And before that conversation happens, what?
I was going to say Betty was going to ask Bunny to be her maid of honor.
Yeah. So that was cute. So after that nice moment, Bunny tells Leo, your son's a piece of shit.
Yeah, and he really solidifies that in these next couple of episodes.
Yeah. And then we get to Ben going over to Ricky's house to have a man-to-man chat, and all Ben wants is for Ricky to hit him. But before then,
I think that's...
Well, he keeps saying, I just want Ricky to hit me.
Yeah.
But before that confrontation happens, George walks in on Ashley and Grant.
Because Ben doesn't find Ricky this episode.
Well, he's talking to Leo and is like, I just hope he hits me.
He wants to find Ricky. He wants to confess, and he wants Ricky to hurt him because that's what he deserves.
So, but then we get to George walking into Ashley and Grant, and George just assumes he's gay because all of Griffin's family members are gay.
Yeah.
And they don't really stop him from thinking that. And then we go to Amy drove to Jimmy, as we said earlier, and finds out why he didn't call her back, which was because of the condom and him not wanting to have sex in high school. And they start making out to solidify that Amy's not a bad kisser.
Yeah. And then we get Ben being a major asshole to Betty.
Yeah, and I wrote Benny funny cuss word joke about Ben. And then Ben is a dick to Betty.
Yep, he calls her a hooker.
Yeah, but Betty said a funny curse word joke about Ben first. I don't know. Yeah, he calls her a hooker, and then Jack shows up.
Yeah, because Henry and Alice called Jack to help Ben, because Jack's been in Ben's position before.
Mm-hmm. And then I wrote Jack is misogynist.
Yep. And then Ben leaves upset because he's looking for Ricky.
Yeah, but first we get Jack and Madison talking on the phone, and Jack is now mad because Madison did what Lauren did and said, like, I don't want to get married. I don't want babies.
Mm-hmm.
And then we go, Leo goes to talk to Ricky first. Mm-hmm. So Leo goes to the apartment to talk to Ricky to be like, sorry, my son's a fucking dick. But we see
he's not
Ricky
there.
is gone. And then we show Jesse and Jack are both not calling Lauren and Madison back because, they're all upset about babies and marriage, whatever. This is like an unneeded storyline.
Yeah, it was all awkward.
And then we get to Tom.
Yeah, my only note is Tom goes to see Adrian and Grace, but I don't remember why.
So Tom shows up at Adrian's house. Adrian's crying everywhere. Tom comes to say sorry that Grace was mean to you. We all make mistakes. And as Tom's talking to Adrian, Grace shows up and is like, I do owe you an apology, Adrian, but like I'm mad that you slept with Ben because I like Ben. And then that was kind of it.
And then episode 21.
No.
Choices.
No.
Well, I don't have any more notes.
So Ben calls Grace while she's at Adrian's and is like, hey, sorry I'm a dick, but have you seen Ricky? And then, well, he's talking to Grace. He kind of lets Adrian know too, like, hey, sorry we made a mistake, but have you seen Ricky? And then Amy comes home and she talks to her parents. I don't really remember about what. And then
where she was because it was so late. She was after curfew.
And then George mentions Grant, and then Amy goes, "Oh, Grant, like the guy that Ashley's making out with, he's not gay." And then so George finds out Grant isn't gay, and gives him permission to stay the night because it's late. And so Ashley's like, "Oh, okay." And then George kind of pretends to leave, and Grant goes, "I'm gonna go now." And then Ashley's like, "Well, he said you could stay the night," and he's like, "No, he didn't. Like that's not him allowing me to."
Was a test.
Yeah, and then we get Leo talking to Ben and is like, hey, don't worry, I have people who can find Ricky. And then Ben is honest to Leo about his feelings, and then lets Leo know that this was his first time having sex. He didn't have sex with Maria. And then we get to episode 21.
Choices. Ricky confronts his mom about the past abuse.
Yes. So this episode starts with Ricky. I think it's at a hotel or an apartment. I don't know. He's talking to a front desk guy looking for his mom. And while he's looking for his mom, Ashley calls Ricky and he answers, basically saying, hey, people are looking for you. We care about you. Don't forget John. And he kind of lets her know that he is looking for his mom. So Ashley knows where he is. And then we get to Adrian's house and she's talking to her mom. I guess her mom told Ruben what she did about sleeping with Ben. So they're all kind of like, yeah, that was probably not the smartest thing.
Yeah. And they're like, I think we're going to need new witnesses for the wedding.
Yeah. And then we get over to Amy's, and Amy, they're kind of like, are you upset Ricky's gone? Blah, blah. And she's like, not really. Like, I want to uncomplicate my life.
I'm going to be a good single mom.
Yeah. She's happy that Ricky's gone. That's what she said. She's kind of in this delusional state right now, like after seeing Jimmy and making out, that she thinks like everything is fine and she's like just not confronting her feelings about life.
Yeah. We're like halfway through my notes right now.
Oh, yeah, I don't
This
know
is
that,
like my worst notes episode.
So basically, Grace gets picked up for school by Jack, which isn't good because remember Madison told Jack he can't be friends with Grace.
Yeah.
And then we get Leo talking to Ben about what to tell Amy, which I don't have anything about. Probably not the smartest conversation. But then we have George and Anne talk. Basically, George like wants to know if Anne plans to remarry him ASAP, and Anne's like, I don't know yet. Apparently, Anne's been going to the gym and is looking sexy, and he doesn't understand why she's doing that. And then basically, we also have Amy talking to Lauren and Madison about babysitting. They said that they took pictures with John, and Amy's like, you took pictures with my son without my permission, and they're like, we didn't post them anywhere. And then we get Jack wanting to talk to Madison. And then Jesse wants to talk to Lauren. So basically, Jack talks to Madison like, hey, if you don't want to get married or have kids, like, we shouldn't have a future. And she's like, oh, I just said that so you wouldn't break up with me, blah, blah. They're fine. And then Jesse wants to talk to Lauren, and he's like, do you not want to have kids in a future with me because I'm white? And it was awkward. And she's like, no. But basically, Jack, I wrote, ghosted Madison because she said no future. I said he sucks. But basically, they're all fine now. That storyline is done.
Because it's amazing what can be cleared up if you just have a conversation with someone.
Right, when you're 16. And then
I think at some point in there, Ashley lied about talking to Ricky.
Yeah, not yet. So we have Lauren and Madison talking about Ricky with Amy and like where Ricky is. And then Adrian makes a snotty comment about it, which I don't really remember what she said. And then Grace is now crying in her locker over Jack because she feels alone. Because, she doesn't have Ben anymore because her best friend slept with him.
Yeah.
And then Ben and Adrian talk and they're still friends. And then Amy confronts Ben. And Ben sucks. He blames Amy for sleeping with Adrian. Because Ben's a piece of shit.
Yeah.
And then we must be done with school because Amy cries to Anne because Ben said it was all her fault. And that he knows pizza isn't her favorite. And she wants to run away like Ricky did. It's not fair that Ricky gets to run away. And then Anne decides to, talk Amy up like, you're a good mom, blah, blah, blah. And Jimmy calls Amy, and then all of a sudden, like a switch, Amy starts acting normal because she's psycho. And then Betty and Ben talk. Ben apologizes for being a dick. And then we kind of learned about how Betty and Leo met. And apparently Betty and Leo met because they were both at the same restaurant, and Betty offered to buy Leo breakfast, and she lets Ben know that she was upfront with Leo right away about her profession, and she did let him know, and he didn't care. And she said to Ben, sometimes the hopeless romantic good guy wins, which let's hope that's not Ben ever, because Ben doesn't deserve to win.
No.
Yes. And then Grace and Tom talked to Kathleen's fiance because Grace decided that some reverse psychology could work with their wedding. And basically, it doesn't help, and they decide to get married sooner rather than later.
Yeah.
And then we noticed that Adrian's mom is picking up extra shifts at work, which makes Adrian freak out because she thinks that means her mom's going to leave. But basically Ruben and her mom talked and they're fine. And then George comes home from work and he's got a new wardrobe and a hat.
And a hat on.
Yeah. And because of that look, Anne invites George back into the bedroom.
Ooh.
And they're about to go to bed, and Anne's like, why don't you take off your hat? You can't sleep with a hat on. And George doesn't want to. Why is George wearing a hat, Jen?
Because he got hair plugs.
Yay!
They don't look good.
No, but basically he was intimidated by Anne going to the gym. So he's going to look good too.
He's going to try.
Yeah. But then we see Ashley and Amy talking, and Ashley lets Amy know where Ricky is. So, which then brings us to Ricky talking to his mom about his past with his dad and the sexual abuse, and he basically confronts his mom and is like, why didn't you stop him from hurting me and all this stuff. She didn't really she feels a lot of guilt about it. But because
he was also abusing her.
Yeah. So basically she gives Ricky a gift, and it looks like she's been saving money for him. And it's like an envelope full of cash. And that's that.
Yeah. 23?
22.
I got you, babe.
Your FaceTime's frozen.
And Ricky tries to get George's assistance in getting joint custody.
Are you still here?
I think it starts out with Ricky and
Did you
Leo
do that
having a
summary?
chat. Yeah, you were
Did you do that?
frozen.
Oh, I didn't hear you at all.
Oh.
Yeah. So yeah, Leo finds Ricky and they talk.
Mm-hmm.
So Ricky decides to come back, and that's where we see Ben coming over to apologize.
Ben's like, just hit me, please. I'm so sad.
Yeah, and at
Ben,
first he was like, "We weren't even really friends, Ricky," and
yeah.
Ben resents Ricky for ever sleeping with Amy because Ben's a psycho. And yeah, Ben just wants Ricky to hit him.
Yeah. So then Ben hits Ricky and he
Mm-hmm.
hurts his hand pretty bad. And Ricky hits Ben. And Ben's like, I think my hand's broken. Ricky's like, if you can wiggle your fingers, you're fine. Get you some
Yeah.
ice.
And then Ben tells Ricky that he wrecked his whole life.
Yeah.
And Ricky brings Ben the Boo Boo Man ice pack, the ice pack that he has for John, because Ricky's a good dad and is the real dad of John and not Ben. And then Ricky's foster parents show up, and they tell Ricky that they want to be better grandparents to John,
Mm-hmm.
which gets, and they're like, we have some ideas, which kind of gets Ricky's mind working. But basically, then we go over to the Grace's house, and her mom got married. And Grace talks to her stepdad about sex, and he doesn't give her some great advice about being a good girl.
Well, he kind of does. I mean, he's
Yeah,
practical with his advice, you know.
because he's an
What he
OBGYN.
said was all true. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But it,
But
once
Grace
it gets in
twists
Grace's
it,
head, yeah,
or she sees it as a way to help get rid of him. Where
yeah,
she's like, well, he told me that, you know, good girls can also have sex, so that's what I'm
yeah.
doing.
And then we go, and Adrienne and Ruben talk about her mom. And then I also just really wanted to know why Adrienne's books are the wrong way on her bookshelf. She has it
I
where
didn't notice.
so her books aren't, it's not the spine facing out, it's the pages. And it's just awful.
Maybe they had to do that because they couldn't like promote anything. So
Yes.
they're like, we'll fill the bookshelf, but
They could have just
we'll
used
hope
like
people don't notice it.
coverless books. I don't know. But they talk about Adrienne's mom and her picking up extra shifts and basically not to worry about it. And I guess Ruben told his mom about the wedding, which I guess isn't a good thing because Ruben's mom hates Adrienne's mom, but apparently she's excited.
Yeah.
And then we see Adrienne dressing up for Ricky, kind of like a little hoe.
All the girls kind of dressed up for Ricky because when we get to school, we see them. It's like
Mm-hmm.
the beginning of the first episode ever. They're
Oh,
playing
yep.
that same song
Yep, I
again,
wrote
and it's like
that.
the same thing. You see the
Yeah.
girls all at their lockers. It's like, yeah,
Yeah.
the exact copy of the first intro.
So George and Ashley talk about Ricky, and Ashley's lying about knowing where Ricky is. And then talk about Ashley telling Ashley's feelings about Amy. I don't know. And then Amy and Anne talk about Ricky, and Ricky wants to talk to Amy later, so Amy thinks Ricky's mad at her. So then Anne suggests that Amy goes to therapy with him, which she isn't all for.
No.
And then, I have the Avril Lavigne school scene again. What the fuck? And then it kind of starts with Ricky and Ashley talking at school, and Ashley letting him know, like, hey, Amy
This
knows
is
where
what
you
happened while you
were,
were gone.
blah, blah. And then Ben comes up to talk to Ashley, and Ben and Ashley hug, which I thought was gross. And then apparently Ben and Ricky are actually friendly.
Have you ever
Uh,
hugged Taylor?
yeah. Whenever I leave, Taylor always hugs me goodbye. You don't. Like, whenever you guys brought me up at the airport, he always hugs me. And me and you are just like, okay, bye. Have you ever hugged Nick?
I don't know.
I don't know either. He's a hugger. It's weird.
I don't remember.
And then we have Adrian confronting Ricky.
Ricky dumps her ass.
And then I have Amy trying to run away from Adrian. And
It's
then
fair.
Adrian follows her, and they see the boys and Ashley. Oh, and that's when Adrian confronts Ricky. And then Amy acts nice to Ben, going like, "Hey, Ben."
Yeah.
Ricky ends things, and basically it's just like, Adrian, I don't want games. Adrian doesn't believe him. And then basically he says he never really loved her. And then this is about, I don't know. I wrote something, but whatever.
My next thing was news is spreading. So I guess that's...
Well, so then Ricky and Amy talk in the band room, and they're going to talk tonight.
Yeah.
Yep, and then news is spreading, Lauren and Madison trying to gossip about Ricky to their boyfriends, and their boyfriends don't give a shit. And everyone thinks Ricky wants Amy back.
Yeah. And then I don't know, my next note is Grace giving Ben false hope for Amy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I have Grace and Ben talk about sex and hanging out.
Mm-hmm.
And then I have Adrian crying. Because before Adrian left for school, Ruben's like, "Hey, if you need anything, call my office and I'll come home." Which she did. She's laying in bed crying, and Ruben came home.
And offers to get her ice cream.
Yep. And then we go to the Jurgens house, and the parents confront Ashley for complimenting Amy. Which is weird. Oh, because Ashley called her a good mom. And they're like, "Why did you do
was
that?
just like
What do you
giving her a
want?"
pep talk. It's like, well, George told her to, and I think it was so she could hang out with Grant or something later.
Yeah. Then Anne tells George that they can get remarried next year, and George doesn't like that. He wants to get remarried now or nothing.
Yeah.
And then we have Ricky and Amy talk, and he's not mad at her. He apologizes to Amy for leaving, and about their kiss. And Ricky tells Amy that he wants to take John on weekends now.
Yep.
And she flips out, and Ricky reminds Amy she doesn't get to decide everything, and Amy cries.
Yes. Now we're ending the Ben being a dick episodes and starting the Amy being a dick episodes. Although I'm sure Ben is still a dick, but...
Yeah, kind of. Episode 23.
23! I watched this one today.
Ooh.
Ricky tries to get George's assistance in getting joint custody.
Yeah, so this episode starts with Ricky has George over for breakfast to see his apartment. And so George is kind of on Ricky's side with like, "Yeah, I think you should take John on weekends. It'd be good for Amy and you. I think you're doing well, but like, I'm not. This isn't about me." Then we see George back at home and bribing Ashley with talking to Amy about Ricky. And says Grant can come over if you tell Amy to let Ricky see John on the weekends.
And then Anne is there.
Yeah.
And they talk about it.
Yeah, and Anne's all like, Amy should be in charge. She's the mom.
Yeah, and she's like, I wish you would have talked to me first because we're going to go talk to Ricky's parents tonight. We're having dinner with them tonight to discuss this. And Anne's also like, we're not getting involved. They have to work this out for themselves.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
And then I have Amy is bitching. So basically, she's on a rampage about why does Ricky think he could take my son away, blah, blah, blah.
Because he's the dad.
And then Psycho Adrian comes over to let Amy know that she's on her side. Ricky shouldn't see John. we need to get witness statements to get character statements.
Yeah, for court.
Yeah. Because he's going to take her to court and blah, blah, blah. So we get over to Grace's house, and Ben and Grace are playing cards.
Cribbage.
Oh. And Grace is... is asking about Maria in Italy. And basically, remember, Grace isn't a good girl anymore. And so she wants to show Ben her room, and they're going to make out. And while they're making out, Amy...
Well, they don't even get started. They get cocked blocked by Amy.
Yeah, so Amy calls Ben with Adrian to talk about Ricky and the legal battle, asks them to make a character statement video, blah, blah, blah. And then Adrian blames Amy for having sex with Ben because this is all apparently Amy's fault.
Yeah.
So Adrian leaves. And once Adrian leaves, Ashley comes in and lets her know that what's best for John is for him to see Ricky.
Yeah. Because kids need a mom and a dad.
Yeah. And then Adrian sucks and she's manipulative. That's what I wrote.
Let's see.
And then we get to Grant and Ashley babysitting Robbie. And talking about sex.
I don't even know where that is. I have Amy being selfish, which I think was after the talk with Ashley. And then Amy doesn't forgive Adrian, and Adrian says it's dumb that she doesn't forgive her because the boys have already made up with each other and they're a team now and you need to have women on your side.
I wrote. She's manipulative.
Yep. Yeah.
So then I have Grant and Ashley are babysitting Robbie in Ashley's room again. And they're kind of talking about sex. And Grant lets Ashley know that he's had sex before. And Ashley's like, well, I haven't and I'm not ready.
Yeah.
Then they make out. And then I have George and Anne and Ricky's foster parents having dinner. And as we know, Ricky's foster parents want them to see John. Anne is against the whole thing.
Yeah. And George is kind of in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
He can see both sides because he knows what is good.
Yeah. So then we get to Ricky's apartment and Ruben's over there. Ricky's asking for Ruben's help with the custody. And he advises that before getting any legal things that he should try to talk to Amy again because once this happens, there's always a winner and a loser, and their relationship will change forever if they get an actual custody agreement.
Yep. And then Amy and Ricky finally talk, and Amy's just a big old bitch, and she shows Ricky all of the videos that their friends have made.
Awkward.
Yeah.
And then they talk again, and Amy says she doesn't want John to love Ricky. That's her whole problem. And then
Ashley and Madison. Hey, do you think
Madison.
Wasn't that website for the married men to hook up with people called Ashley Madison?
Yeah. I like it. I was like, which one? There's two. Yeah. But so we get to Madison is freaking out to Jack because she doesn't want to go to jail for bribing Jack with oral sex to make the video.
It wasn't just oral sex, it was sex.
Oh, I have oral.
Lauren and Madison are talking about losing their virginities after Leo and Betty's wedding. They've got it all planned.
Yep. So Jack is like, well, we'll just make a video for Ricky now. Or we'll make a new video.
And that's basically what everyone does.
Yeah, so then we see Lauren talking to Jesse, or Lauren says her and Jesse should have sex after Leo's wedding, like you said. And he's like, okay. And then we see Ricky confronts Ben about the video. So then Ben calls Grace and is like, hey, we need to make a new video.
Yep, that's what kind of gets the ball rolling.
Yeah, and then Ricky and Leo talk. And Bunny rats Ben out. I don't know. Oh, maybe about the video. Yeah, he's like, why is Ben getting involved?
Yeah.
And then I have Ashley and Grant and sex. So I think they're still talking about having sex. And then we go to Ricky and Amy in mediation. So
Yep.
yeah, we see all the new witness videos. And then we have that Joe guy giving a weird testimony and is like asking Amy out during it.
Yeah.
And then basically the mediator's like, yeah, I can make a decision. And Amy stops him and is like, you can have John on the weekends. It's what's good for everyone. And then
Yeah.
there's a big bombshell though with that. And
Because
what
next
lands
weekend is John's first birthday, so Ricky will have him for the
out.
birthday.
So they are going to talk about that, and basically Anne's like, you guys can all do a birthday party, but make it in a common ground like the park. So
Yeah.
Amy goes over to Ricky and is like, what are we gonna do? And they decide to have like a big family birthday party. Um,
And Anne gets to make the cake, and
yeah.
everyone will be there.
Yep. And then we see George gives Anne a deadline of Leo's wedding to decide if she wants to marry him again.
Mm-hmm.
And that's never gonna be good.
Ashley and Adrian
Adrian
chat.
calls Ashley, yeah, to get a check-in on what happened at mediation.
And then
And then
Ashley asks Adrian, how would one go about getting birth control pills without their parents knowing?
Adrian has a revelation during this conversation because
Yeah.
Adrian recently switched birth control pills.
Yeah, and as she's giving Ashley a lecture on how they work, on how you should take them for a month before having sex. If not, they may not be as effective. And that's when she's doing the mental math in her head and she's like, huh, I haven't gotten my period yet.
And
And
if
I
we
just switched pills. And
remember, her and Ricky haven't
to
had
the,
sex in a while.
yeah, because she's like, when was the mother-daughter dance? And who was she with that night?
And who has the refused to have sex with Ricky?
Dun, dun, dun.
And that brings us to
Episode
episode
24. The last one of the second season. Been there, done that, but Ben is spelled B-E-N.
Ha!
You get it?
Ha!
John's first birthday's here. Ricky and Amy come to an agreement about John's party. However, Amy sabotages it. Shocking. Meanwhile, Adrian harbors a big secret.
So we get Ricky and Amy talking about John's birthday and how it's all gonna work. And they hang up the phone, and we see Amy has a little plan of her own for midnight. John's all dressed in his Sunday best, and Amy brings in some cupcakes, and she has a little birthday party with John, which I don't understand what the big fucking deal is.
Yeah, everybody was so upset about this, but I didn't see what it was either. I feel like a lot of divorced couples do that.
So it's the mother's first birthday of pushing out a fucking human being out of her 15-year-old vagina.
Yeah, and it's not like she
And
even did anything that special. They just shared a cupcake.
yeah, they got dressed up. She had him, a 1-year-old, on her lap, and they blew out a candle and a cupcake and ate a cupcake.
Yeah.
It's not like he said his first word or took his first steps. He ate a
No.
cupcake.
Yeah.
So we get Anne wakes Amy up late, because Mimsy had a stroke, so Anne and George are gonna go see her. They can't make it to John's birthday party. Amy has a breakdown about that. And then Anne has a breakdown about missing John's first birthday party. It's not a oh my
It's
god.
not a party. It was just
I
a sweet
truly
moment.
thought she would recognize that as a mom. Like that
Yeah.
was a moment of like, this is, the anniversary of having my first child. I want that
Yeah.
special thing. And then we see Ashley talking to George, and she asks George if she can go on the pill. And he fights her
Mm-hmm.
about it and says, I want you to wait until you're 18. And that pissed me off. Of like, she's asking you like to get on the pill.
Yeah.
Mom and I talked about this last weekend too. She said that I had asked her to get on the pill like earlier than I got on it because I got on it senior year. And she said no. And she's like, I wish I would have like listened to you. And I was like, I don't remember asking you, but she's like,
Yeah.
should have. And I was like, yeah, probably. And so it's annoying that he didn't listen to her.
But
But
then I
then
think he does start to listen to her.
yeah, because Ashley tells George that Adrian's pregnant.
Yeah.
Yeah. And during that, Grace and Adrian are talking about that as well. And Adrian wants to have an abortion, and you know how Grace feels about that.
Yeah. So she goes
Um,
into savior mode.
but then Grace gets mad because she learns it's Ben's.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Grace makes the phone call to Jack. Um,
And then we
and then
have
we
the
get
gaggle of girls at school begging Amy if they can go to the birthday party. She's like,
yeah.
no, literally just going to be us immediate family members.
Yeah, well, and it's only going to be like me now.
Yeah.
So then Lauren and Madison talk about condoms because you know they're going to have sex after Leo and Betty's wedding, and they
Yeah.
ask if there are sizes. If you don't know what a condom is, you should not have sex.
Yeah.
Just maybe a rule of thumb.
I also like that they said, and
Uh,
this isn't a sex pact, but that's kind of exactly what it is.
yeah.
You guys made this pact to
Uh,
have sex on that night.
and then we see Jesse and Jack talking about having sex with the girls, and Jesse says he doesn't want to be Lauren's first because she's too emotional.
I think he also said because he's not ready either. It's too
Yeah.
soon in their relationship. And he just
Yeah.
doesn't want that responsibility right now.
Right. And then at school, Grace talks to Jack about Adrian and the abortion, and Lauren or Madison sees them talking. She's
Mm-hmm.
not happy about that. And then we get to Henry and Alice, and they just said that they're going to crash the birthday party.
Yeah, with Ben. It's like, why does every single event in this town need to be a big event?
Yeah,
All these
apparently like,
kids
they
have
all got him
FOMO.
presents too. Like, why would they get John a birthday present?
I could maybe see getting a little something. I mean, it's your
But
friend's
Henry and
baby.
Alice, are they really friends? I don't know.
I don't know.
I mean, they all did go to the hospital the day after he was born too. So,
Yeah.
and then Griffin decides to talk to Ashley about sex, and I guess George called Griffin right away. It was like, "Hey, Ashley wants to have sex."
Yeah. And
Um,
then Ben also invited everyone to the wedding. So now Griffin and Grant and all of them can go.
um, so then I guess Ricky learned about Amy's little birthday party for John, and he's mad, which he's the only person that could maybe be mad about this.
Yeah, but you still think he'd be understanding.
Yeah. So, and then Ricky and Ben talk to Amy, which I don't know what about. Do you know what they all talk to her about?
Let's see. Ricky and Ben, no, but I know. Let's see. My next notes are about Mimsy when we're up there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So
And
George and Anne are at Mimsy's.
yeah, and we find out that Mimsy's doing fine and they're all going to get ready to go in the car to go back down to be there for the wedding and stuff. And
But first,
Mimsy wants George and Anne to get married, so she goes and brings out her wedding dress. And Anne's like, "Why is your wedding dress out?" And she's like, "Oh, because I just got married too."
mhm.
And we find out Mimsy got married.
Before that, Anne says no to getting married.
Well, yeah, but George is still holding out hope.
Mimsy is married. And I want to know what kind of freaking home health care this is, or whatever assistant living she lives in, because she has Alzheimer's. Should not be allowed. Well, especially without calling Anne first, but whatever.
Yeah.
And then we get Amy and Ricky are arguing about the birthday party because none of her family's gonna be there now.
Yeah.
So
Plus, John is like down for a nap right now, and Ricky showed
Mhm.
up before bedtime, and he was like, "No, you can't take him right now. It's not bedtime. I still have
Yeah.
him."
Well, so Ricky's like, well, I'll call my family, let them know that like they shouldn't come to the party. We'll have our own birthday party, just us as parents and John.
Because it's raining, so
Yeah, and
the party's
then Ricky
canceled.
invites Amy to spend the night for John's birthday
Yeah.
instead.
He said
Uh,
he'll sleep on the couch.
yep, and then so Amy's like, cool, and then she talks to Ashley about it. And then we learn Ashley's going to have the house to herself.
Yeah, so she's like super pushing Amy. She's like, "Yeah, that sounds like a great idea, Amy. Go, go."
Hmm.
Because she's going to invite her boyfriend over.
Yes. And then we get to Amy and Ricky and John going back to the apartment. And you remember you have to go through the butcher shop to get to the apartment. So Ben
Yeah.
sees Ricky and Amy going to Ricky's house, and
The
Ben or
funniest
Ricky,
thing, though, I wrote about this, though, because, it's supposed to be raining.
yeah,
And as they walk into the butcher shop, Amy's like, "Oh, we're soaked." But if you look at them,
they
everybody's
had an
bone
umbrella.
dry. And they're bone dry. Their clothes are
Yeah,
dry. Their hair is dry. There's no water on them at all.
yeah. And then Ricky's like, I'll go get your bag. So Ben knows that they're gonna spend the night.
Yep.
And
Ben's being dumb.
Ben says to Amy, it should have been my baby. Fuck
Okay, Ben.
off.
We also missed Adrian's
Uh,
wedding, or her parents' wedding.
oh, yeah. So during that,
It wasn't very
Adrian's
long.
parents get married. Remember, Ruben's mom doesn't like Adrian's mom, which I don't even remember Adrian's mom's name.
I know.
It's the only person's name I don't know. But basically, his mom sabotaged it because she was sending her a dress to wear,
Yeah,
and she
her
sends her
dress.
a size 24 bright red dress, which does not fit her. But they all still get married at the courthouse, and happy ever after. But
They got
Adrian
married by
knows
Fast Eddie.
by Fast Eddie, and Adrian knows she's pregnant, so she's kind of having those feelings
Anxious.
that yes.
Like, shit,
Uh,
my life.
mm-hmm. And then
Madison and Jack are talking about how Madison's not ready to have sex yet.
and Madison wants to see what a condom looks like.
Yes, and then Jack also tells Madison that Adrian's pregnant.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, "You can't tell anyone."
And he's like, maybe we shouldn't have sex. We need condoms for sure. And
Yeah.
then Grace and Madison cries about that. And then Grace calls Adrian. Adrian won't let her come over because
She doesn't want her
Adrian,
involved in this anymore.
yeah, and she's like, I won't even let you know if I am pregnant or not because I might want an abortion.
Yep.
And then Ben calls Amy and leaves her a voicemail saying, I love you.
I love my Amy.
Ooh.
Hate him.
And then we get, why are you sitting in the dark?
It's just my room. It's really hot here. It's been in the 90s for like the last 2 weeks, and we have western facing windows, so the sun just beats down on them in the afternoon
Yeah,
and
I'll go in the
evening.
dark too. We'll have
So we
weird
try to
lighting.
keep our lights off. We keep all the blinds
Oh, I
shut and the
know.
curtains closed because even our air conditioner still can't keep up with this. We have it set at 68, but it always like gets up to 75 during the
How
afternoon.
much is your electric bill?
Taylor said this last month it was 130.
Okay, so
But that's like the highest it's ever
the fact that
been.
mine's 92 right now isn't bad.
No, that's normal for the summer.
Okay, because someone told me they're like, oh, mine's only like $50 with air conditioning going and stuff all day, and I'm like, so should I be
And then
like fighting Excel?
you also have to like think of how big is their place, what kind of
Yeah,
windows do they have. Our one in our other apartment didn't have to run that much and our bill was cheap, but that's because our windows were blocked by trees.
yeah. Okay, so I don't feel as bad anymore. So then we get to Leo's wedding, and everyone is there. And
Ricky and
Mimsy,
Amy showed up together.
well, not yet. Mimsy is excited to meet Kathleen. Because remember, Mimsy
Yeah, for some
loves
reason.
George. And then Madison's singing at the wedding.
Yep.
So random. She's very good.
Yeah, she tried to be a singer, but she just has that old-timey voice, and that wasn't very popular
Yeah.
in the 2000s, so she never took off, but she's put out some albums.
And then I got excited, so I prematurely wrote, Amy looks happy after Ricky's. And then I was like, oh, Ben.
Yeah.
So I thought, they were going to be happy and like a couple. But
Nope.
she's looking for Benjamin.
But so is Adrian.
Mm-mm. So Anne says her and George don't have a lot in common. And she wants to spend this next year getting to know each other again. And he doesn't like that. And then Adrian finds Ben.
Have we gotten to the horse and carriage yet?
Oh, yeah.
Because that was super awkward.
Yeah. So the Sausage King and Queen arrive.
And they have like those medieval trumpet players that announce their arrival. Like, "Bah, bah, 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 bah. Here's the Sausage King and his queen."
Like when you see a front view of their house, like when they've shown like Amy showing up and stuff, like it looks like a big house, but not that big. Like a normal, larger house.
Like a McMansion, yeah.
But the backyard and like the backyard view, it has like the high shrubs, like the wall shrubs, like large enough to have a wedding, large enough to have a carriage come in. And it's like, oh, okay, this is a larger house. I think it's two different houses.
Definitely. From the front, it looks like a normal suburban mansion, but from the
like
back, it looks like a Hollywood Hills mansion.
Yeah, like an upper middle class house. And then like the back looks like the yard from Princess Diaries when they're having tea.
Yeah. So weird.
Yeah. And so they arrive, and then Adrian finds Ben and tells her, I think I'm pregnant. We need to take a test. So they go inside, and then Grant throws a glass, which was weird.
I don't know that. I know they're dancing on the floor.
Yeah. So Ashley goes to talk to Ricky.
Yeah.
And Ashley looks smitten, and Grant sees that, and he throws a glass angrily.
And the mom freaks out too, Anne.
Anne is like, oh shit. And they all think that Ashley is in love with Ricky.
Well, no, if any of you guys would just listen, it's more of like a sister and older brother relationship.
Yeah, and then we go and see Ben staring out a window with his life flashing before his eyes. And Adrian,
because he finally got his wish. He's the daddy.
And Adrian walks up to him with the pregnancy test. Dun, dun, dun!
We're almost halfway through the show, guys. We're doing it.
That was the end of season 2. We might have another baby coming. We might finally be done with Amy and Ricky, or Amy and Ben. Maybe Ashley and Ricky are going to have a baby. Who knows?
I know. You know. We've seen this show before. We know where it's going.
I forget little details, though. Like I know
they come back, though. They're coming back, though.
Yeah. Like, I remember the major details, and, like, I know what's going to happen with Ben and Adrian and stuff like that, but, like, I don't remember the middle parts.
Yeah.
Like, I don't ultimately know, like, who Grace ends up with.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I don't know her trajectory.
Yeah.
I'm remembering things, so especially when we saw Nora for the first time, that brought back a lot of shit that I remember is going to happen.
Yeah. Yes. She's, like, always that mom in all these shows, too. The bad mom.
Yeah. I don't know. She's just always portrayed as, like, a druggie, which is sad. Yeah. Well, what'd you get up to these 2 weeks?
Nothing.
Besides turning into a tomato for a week.
Yeah, so Okay, but to be fair, I did put sunscreen on my scalp and my ears
Yeah, Mom told me that.
because I was like, I need to put it on my
But in
ears
addition
because
to that, you
Jenny
got
will
to do it
yell
so
at
you
me.
rest your body.
It's like Jenny will yell at me if I don't put it on my ears. So 4th of July, we went out to our grandma's house. And you know, the giant floaty that's usually occupied by the adults. Like apparently we're adults now.
Mm.
So I was invited on the floaty for the first time. It felt weird. I was like, I'm part of the club. Um, but it was like me, Kelsey, Jet, Nick, and Magali were sitting on it. And I thought we were out there for maybe like an hour, but it was 3.5 hours. And only my right side and my back were facing the sun. So like my back is awful. My right side especially, like my left side kinda. So like my legs are uneven in color. My
Lovely.
stomach is nothing. Like nothing on my stomach. And then my
That's
back is
kind of
just
nice, though.
yeah, I was like able to at least sleep on my stomach, but I definitely had sun poisoning. There's like a part, especially on my upper right thigh, that like had multiple blisters and they all popped when I was sleeping. So right now it's just scabbed.
I didn't even get blisters from my Mexico burn.
Yeah, it's bad. Like my rib cage too had blisters on the right side. So it's like I have my tattoo on the left side and then this side I have just a scab. Um, but I'm recovering. I'm still like kind of peeling.
Yeah, I can see it from
Um,
here.
really?
On your shoulder, your arm.
Oh, this one. Yeah, this is my bad arm. Yeah, like my hand, I just how my hand was like, you can see my wrist tan line. I didn't have a ponytail on or anything. It was just how I was sitting. So it's all great.
Yeah.
This is the only time I've been happy that I've been working from home because I could just like be naked with aloe on my body and work. Um, and then so I recovered this week, and then Saturday when I got lash extensions, just because I
I
can.
like how you still have to zoom in on the camera to show them off.
Well, they're partials, so I got the natural looking ones. I'm gonna get more like the full set for Kelsey's wedding, but I'll probably just stick with partials throughout life. Then yesterday I went home again for Kelsey's bridal shower. They had all of the games.
Yeah.
At the end of the shower, they put a fake aisle down. The tent, we were like outside in a tent, and it was hosted by Kelsey's aunts on the Schleif side besides Dana. So it's Jamie and Mary, well, and Vicky hosted it, and they made her pretend to walk down the aisle as we blew bubbles to wish her off well. And Gina's phone wouldn't play the music, so we all had to awkwardly sing the "Go into the church," da, 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 da. And Scott was sitting outside his house, like our grandma's neighbor, was sitting outside on his like little patio thing, just like watching us, and I was like, "This is so awkward."
Yeah.
But yeah, so they did that. Bridal showers are always weird, as you know, you've had one where it's like the whole point of the party is just to watch the bride open presents. And it's just really
Yeah.
weird. And like, I was telling mom, because I was normally just gonna like get Kelsey cash. But I feel like bridal showers, like you have to get a present because it's like a competition. It's like you're outwardly opening the present. But yeah, it's just weird. They're all weird.
Yeah.
But then I'm like,
They'll all be forgotten.
I kind of want to get engaged just to have a bridal shower because she got like the whole Chrissy Teigen cookware set. And I was like,
Depends who
what?
your family is and who shows up, because you may not get those gifts.
You know, they were all.
I didn't get a whole cookware set.
Well, she's having a second shower as well, but like, I don't know. Yeah. So what did you do?
Not much.
It's your anniversary today when you're being married. What's life
Yay.
like?
I don't
What's
know.
life like as a married woman who's lived with her husband for at least 10 years?
Pretty normal.
Is this 12 or 13 years together? It's
12.
12. Yeah. So 9 years of living together, 8 or 9.
Yeah.
Nothing's
9.
changed.
Nope.
Dislocation.
Rewatched Euphoria
Oh yeah.
this weekend. Hosted a party. Had a
Yes, you
steak
did.
dinner.
Ooh. Did you make steak? Did you get it ordered in?
No, Taylor's grandparents were out in Colorado for
Oh.
their anniversary, and
Hmm.
they swung by Boulder and took us out to dinner.
Oh, you went out?
I went out.
Oh. What's it like in a nice restaurant with
It's terrifying.
yeah. Did you sit outside or were you inside?
They don't have outside seating,
Oh,
so we
even
had to sit
worse.
inside. I mean, there was only like 2 other occupied tables or something in there. It's never a busy place because it's one of the most expensive places in Boulder.
Right. Yeah.
And yeah, I don't know. We wore masks except when we were at our table. All the people working wore masks. Let's see. What else did I do? I did some pretty great makeup for the party, inspired by Euphoria.
It was very pink.
Mm-hmm. Pink and purple and glitter.
Hmm. I'm trying with these lashes because they're obviously long and curled. Like I can't do like an eyeliner yet. Like my technique isn't there with like the lashes like coming over it. That and I was scared to like touch them a lot the first day that they were gonna like they are falling out because they just fall out. But like you're supposed to lose like 1 to 3 a day or something. But like I was so afraid to touch them that like I couldn't do an eyeliner line and it was just scary.
I don't even think I own eyeliner anymore.
Well, not like an eyeliner with like an eyeshadow, like kind of,
Well,
you
I
know what
don't
I mean?
even do that on top. I've
Oh,
given up on doing eyeliner stuff on top. I was never good at it.
I just do like a darker, like with the thin smudge brush. I just do a darker color of like I don't know, just an outline. But like I couldn't get close to that water line, is like what I mean. Um, what are you guys
See,
doing for dinner tonight?
we have no idea. We've got a HelloFresh we could make, or we'll pick something up. I don't know.
I let one of my every plates, the hamburger, sit in my fridge for 10 days. So now I was like, we should probably throw that away. I
Yeah,
just
once
didn't
it kind
want
of
to make
hits the week mark and
some.
we still haven't eaten one, we'll be like, well, let's freeze the meat and we can use that to make something else. And we'll search through the bag of ingredients of things we
Yeah.
could save.
Yeah, we have like the onion still in there and stuff, but like I just wasn't in the mood to eat burgers after like 4th of July.
Yeah, I get it. That happens to us a lot where it's like, sounded good at the time when we ordered it, but we just never
Yeah,
felt
then
it.
it took like a week later to come. We have like a frozen beef and broccoli
Mm.
and rice.
I don't know. We had Burger King for a late lunch because I was craving mozzarella sticks, and they're like the only place in Boulder that has them. They're not very good, but they fixed the craving.
We ordered Applebee's delivery Friday night and it was great. I got a triple chocolate meltdown and the cake was still warm when it came and the ice cream was still frozen. It was
I always
great.
crave their chicken fajita roll up, but the closest Applebee's is like half an hour away, so it's never worth it to drive that far for Applebee's.
You could get it delivered.
They not when they're in
Oh yeah, I
2
suppose.
towns over.
That's true.
Yep. There's hardly any chain restaurants in Boulder except for fast food.
Well, so Neil told Rosie already that we're going to Colorado for Thanksgiving. So just to let you know, the whole fam is coming. Gotta
Oh
get a
boy, where are you guys
house.
gonna stay?
Find a house.
I guess we'll see how much of a fire the world is on come end of November.
Yeah. Because I said like Nick and I will come either way, but
If you want to. Maybe travel bans or something. They're massive outbreaks after school starts,
YOLO.
mixed in with other flu season.
Just get me a pie, a pumpkin pie. All right.
Oh, it's our shortest one in a while.
I know. I'm hungry. I'm sweating. I had to
I
turn my
kind of.
air off because it's right here. So I
Oh,
didn't want the noise. some kind of oily now. All
I
right.
appreciate our central air.
Yeah. Our living room and like kitchen, that area doesn't have any air because we only have
I'm aware.
we only have a unit here and then the unit in the other bedroom. And we have like 2 fans out there. I bought a little fan for our kitchen too, because when you're cooking, there's like no air circulation. It's like a sauna. One more year here. One more. June 24th. Let's
3
go.
more years here.
For your lease?
No, just in general, but we'll probably just stay here.
Don't you
Landlord's
go
nice.
to Germany?
Who knows? That's all up in the air right now, with international travel
I know. It's
bans.
like, is that going to be a requirement still?
He has no idea.
Yeah.
Right now they're dealing with, because, a lot of the people in their department aren't Americans. And so they went home in the spring when they could still go home. And now that they're
And they
supposed to
can't
be
come
teaching
back.
again, they can't come back easily. But then there's also, the whole thing of if your classes are online, you lose your visa and all that shit. So they might have to come back here for like a week to maintain their visa status and then go back. It's all so dumb.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
I don't have to do. All right. I'm going to go.
Okay. All right.
Okay, bye.
Bye.